Imagine you're in the middle of an argument. You've laid out your points logically, backed them with facts, and yet the other person refuses to see reason. You get frustrated. You try harder, speak louder, maybe even throw in a sarcastic remark. But what if I told you that, according to Friedrich Nietzsche, this whole process, the need to argue and prove yourself, actually makes you weak? Nietzsche wasn't just some philosopher sitting in an ivory tower thinking about abstract concepts. His ideas were radical, sometimes brutal, but always raw and deeply psychological. And when it comes to debating, he had a shocking insight. Arguing with people is often a sign of insecurity, not strength. Let's break this down. For Nietzsche, strength wasn't about proving yourself to others. It was about proving yourself to yourself. He saw the need to argue and convince others as a desperate attempt to gain validation. A truly strong person doesn't waste time arguing because they don't need others to agree with them. Instead of getting tangled in endless debates, Nietzsche believed in something far more powerful: will to power. This is the idea that life isn't about convincing others. It's about creating, acting, and asserting your own path without needing approval. If you're spending hours debating someone online, trying to change their mind, Nietzsche would say, "Why are you wasting your time? Go live your philosophy instead." So why would Nietzsche, one of history's greatest philosophers, claim that debating is a sign of weakness? Isn't debating supposed to be the foundation of intellectual growth? To understand this, we have to dig into what Nietzsche actually meant when he criticized argumentation. His issue wasn't with exchanging ideas or learning from others. It was with the obsession some people have with proving themselves right. Let's break it down. 1. Debating is a sign of insecurity. At its core, arguing is often not about truth. It's about ego. Nietzsche saw that when people engage in debates, they're usually not searching for wisdom. Instead, they're seeking validation. They need others to agree with them to feel confident in their beliefs. And that, according to Nietzsche, is a weakness. A person who is truly secure in their knowledge doesn't need to convince anyone. They don't need applause or agreement. Their confidence comes from within, not from winning a debate. Second, words versus action, the true measure of strength. Nietzsche believed that strong individuals prove their beliefs not by talking about them, but by living them. This is where we can draw a powerful distinction. Weak people feel the need to argue because they are unsure of themselves. They talk more than they act. Strong people simply embody their philosophy through action. They let their success, discipline, and way of life speak for itself. Think about the people you respect the most. Are they the loudest in the room, constantly trying to prove they are right? Or are they the ones who move with quiet confidence, never needing to justify their beliefs? 3. The false power of winning an argument. Nietzsche warns us that many people mistake winning an argument for being right. But here's the truth. Convincing someone in a debate doesn't mean you're correct. It just means you're better at arguing. In fact, debates are often won through rhetorical tricks, emotional appeals, or simply exhausting the other person into submission. None of that has anything to do with truth. Nietzsche would say that a truly wise person doesn't seek victory in debate. They seek truth through experience. 4. The psychological need to argue. Psychologically, people argue because it makes them feel important. When someone challenges our beliefs, it can feel like a personal attack. We react emotionally, defending our ideas as if our identity depends on it. But Nietzsche saw this as a trap. If you truly believe in something, why waste time trying to convince others? Why not just live it? A lion doesn't need to prove it's a lion, it just is. 5. The hidden cost of arguing. Lastly, Nietzsche recognized that debating takes up energy that could be spent on action and creation instead. The time you spend arguing on social media, debating in forums, or trying to prove your point at a dinner party could be used to improve yourself, build something meaningful, or simply enjoy life. Nietzsche's ultimate lesson? The strong don't argue. They act, they create, they live. So if arguing is a waste of time, what's the alternative? If debating doesn't make you stronger, what actually does? Nietzsche believed the answer was simple. Instead of trying to convince others, focus on becoming something undeniable. Strength doesn't come from winning debates. It comes from embodying your truth so fully that you don't need to argue. Let's break down what this actually means. 1. Let your actions speak for themselves. Have you ever noticed that the most confident and capable people don't feel the need to explain themselves? They don't waste time trying to change others' opinions or proving they're right. Instead, they focus on their work, their goals, and their growth. Nietzsche admired figures throughout history who didn't waste their energy on endless talk. Instead, they built something undeniable, whether it was a philosophy, an invention, a work of art, or a powerful legacy. Rather than arguing with people, they let their results speak for themselves. If you believe in something, don't waste time debating it. Live it, build something, achieve something. Make your truth so undeniable that people can't help but notice. 2. Seek mastery, not approval. Arguing is often a sign that we need external validation. But Nietzsche believed that true power comes from inner certainty. He urged people to seek mastery over their own minds and actions, rather than wasting energy trying to convince others. Think about it. The person who spends their days arguing online about fitness and health is rarely the one in the best shape. The person who constantly debates business and success is often the one who hasn't actually built anything. Instead of talking, Nietzsche would say, go out and do the thing. Become the proof of your ideas. If you believe in health, become healthy. If you believe in wisdom, become wise. If you believe in independence, live independently. 3. Embrace the solitude of independent thinking. One reason people argue is that they're afraid to be alone with their own thoughts. It's easier to engage in endless debates than to actually sit down and examine what you believe and why. Nietzsche saw this as a major weakness. He believed that true strength comes from the ability to think for yourself, even if it means standing alone. In his words, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. This means that when you stop arguing and start living your truth, some people will criticize you. They'll challenge you, misunderstand you, or try to pull you back into the debate. But Nietzsche's advice? Ignore them. Keep moving forward. The more you walk your own path, the less you'll feel the need to argue with those who don't understand it. 4. Focus on power, not opinions. At the end of the day, Nietzsche believed that life isn't about collecting opinions, it's about developing power. And not power in the sense of control over others, but power over yourself. The power to think independently, the power to act with confidence, the power to create, build, and grow without needing permission or validation from others. This is why he saw debating as a sign of weakness. If your strength depends on someone else agreeing with you, then you don't really have strength. But if you can walk away from an argument, knowing your truth without needing to prove it, that's real power. 5. The ultimate freedom, walking away. One of the most powerful things you can do in life is walk away from pointless debates. Instead of trying to convince someone else, invest that energy into something that actually improves your life. Think about it this way. If someone is arguing with you, it means they need your participation to keep going. The moment you stop engaging, the debate dies. And in that moment, you reveal the deeper truth. The truly strong don't argue. They don't need to. Because at the end of the day, the strongest person in the room isn't the one who talks the loudest. It's the one who walks away, focused on something much bigger than winning an argument. And that's exactly what Nietzsche wanted you to understand. You might be thinking, so why do people feel the urge to argue in the first place? Why so many of us get caught up in endless debates, trying to prove a point to someone who may never change their mind? The answer lies deep in human psychology, and Nietzsche saw it as a sign of weakness rather than strength. Let's break this down. 1. The ego's need for validation. At its core, arguing often isn't about truth, it's about validation. When we engage in debates, we're not always looking for wisdom. More often, we're trying to prove that we're right. Why? Because being right makes us feel superior. It boosts our ego and reassures us that we are intelligent, informed, and capable. Nietzsche, however, saw this as a fragile foundation for confidence. If your self-worth depends on proving others wrong, then your sense of identity is weak. A truly strong person doesn't need to convince others. They know their own value, regardless of what anyone else believes. 2. The illusion of control. Another reason people argue is because they want to control how others think. But here's the hard truth. Most people don't change their minds because of an argument. If someone already believes something strongly, they will likely resist any evidence that contradicts it. This is called confirmation bias, the tendency to seek out information that supports our existing beliefs while rejecting anything that challenges them. Nietzsche would say that trying to control other people's beliefs through debate is a waste of energy. Instead of bending the world to fit your view, focus on strengthening yourself. 3. The fear of being wrong. Sometimes arguing is actually a defense mechanism. When someone aggressively debates a topic, it's often because deep down, they fear that their own beliefs might be wrong. If they were truly confident, they wouldn't need to fight so hard to defend themselves. Nietzsche believed that true strength comes from being comfortable with uncertainty. If you are secure in your own mind, you don't panic when someone disagrees with you. Instead of reacting emotionally, you either learn something new or you move on, unbothered. 4. Tribalism and the us versus them mentality. Humans are naturally tribal. We tend to align with groups that share our views, and we often see those with different beliefs as the enemy. This is especially true in today's world, where social media fuels endless debates over politics, religion, and identity. But Nietzsche warned against this kind of thinking. He believed that blindly following a group's ideology weakens your ability to think for yourself. When you argue just to defend a belief you've inherited from your group, you're not proving strength, you're showing conformity. Instead, Nietzsche encouraged people to rise above tribal thinking and develop their own independent philosophy. 5. The addiction to conflict. Believe it or not, some people argue simply because they enjoy the fight. There's a rush that comes from winning a debate, shutting someone down, or proving them wrong. It triggers a dopamine release in the brain, the same chemical that makes us feel good when we win a game or complete a challenge. But Nietzsche saw this as a dangerous distraction. He believed that truly powerful people don't waste their energy on petty battles. Instead of seeking short-term victories in arguments, they focus on long-term mastery of their own mind, emotions, and actions. So how do you break free from the need to argue? If you find yourself constantly debating, take a step back and ask, why am I doing this? Is it because I truly want to learn and grow? Or is it because I need to feel validated, in control, or superior? Nietzsche's answer was simple. A truly strong person doesn't waste time trying to prove they're right. They don't need to argue to feel powerful. Instead, they direct their energy toward building themselves into someone so capable, so wise, and so self-assured that their actions, not their words, do the talking. Stay with me because in the next section, we'll explore how you can apply this to your own life and break free from the cycle of pointless arguments. So, how do you take Nietzsche's insights and actually apply them in your daily life? How do you step away from fruitless arguments and instead focus on becoming stronger, more independent, and more in control of your thoughts and actions? Let's break it down into a few key principles. 1. Focus on self-mastery, not external validation. Nietzsche believed that true strength comes from within. Instead of wasting your time proving a point to someone who isn't willing to change their mind, ask yourself, why do I feel the need to convince them? If you're seeking validation or trying to prove your intelligence, you might be engaging in debate for the wrong reasons. Redirect that energy toward improving yourself. Read, reflect, and sharpen your skills. 2. Strengthen your willpower by taking action. Nietzsche's philosophy isn't about talking, it's about doing. Instead of debating endlessly about what should be done, take decisive action in your own life. If you believe in something, live by it. Your actions will always be more powerful than words. Instead of arguing with someone about fitness, for example, go train. Instead of debating about success, build something. 3. Cultivate intellectual independence. Instead of blindly defending ideas you've been taught, question them. Nietzsche believed in constantly challenging beliefs, even your own. If you find yourself in a debate, stop and ask, am I defending this because I truly believe it, or because I've been conditioned to? True strength comes from independent thinking, not just repeating arguments you've heard before. 4. Choose your battles wisely. Not every argument is worth your time. Nietzsche warns against engaging with people who are not seeking truth, but only want to win. Instead of wasting energy on endless debates, choose discussions that are constructive and help you grow. Ask yourself, is this conversation leading me to a deeper understanding, or is it just an ego contest? 5. Embrace the power of silence. One of the most powerful things you can do is walk away from unnecessary debates. Silence is a weapon. When you refuse to engage in pointless arguments, you maintain control. You show strength by not allowing yourself to be dragged into emotional reactions. This doesn't mean never speaking your mind. It means knowing when your words are valuable and when they are wasted. Nietzsche challenges us to step away from endless debating and focus on something more important, becoming stronger, more independent, and more capable of shaping our own lives. Instead of proving your strength through words, prove it through action. Instead of seeking validation in arguments, seek mastery in yourself. Because at the end of the day, true strength isn't about proving you're right. It's about knowing who you are, standing firm in your beliefs, and not needing anyone else's approval. Nietzsche challenges us to rethink why we argue. Is it truly about discovering truth, or is it a hidden plea for validation? The strongest people don't waste energy debating. They channel it into creating, acting, and living by example. So next time you find yourself caught in a heated debate, remember Nietzsche's lesson. Strength isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right through the way you live. And that is a debate you can win without saying a word. If this video resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into philosophy, psychology, and the hidden truths of life. We'll see you in the next video.